All right, everybody. Vic Strizios here with you guys, and welcome to the show. You guys ready? How many of you guys can hear me? How many of you guys can see me? Give me a quick I. Give me a quick Y. We've got, my goodness, 1,500 and climbing people online right now. Let's see if we can get 2,000 people on a Saturday. Everybody is crazy busy. Right, listen, I'm pumped up, folks, about the stuff we're going to be talking about tonight. This is live, all right? So if you aren't here live, if you're watching this, this is not a pre-recorded replay or anything. This is actually live. This is Saturday, as we're shooting this, and the time is on my clock here on my desktop is 1:05 p.m. Central Time, my friends. So we are live. We're going to be, we're going to have Q&A over here. But here's what I want to tell you. Tonight's discussion, tonight's hangout is going to be a little bit different. If you are a marketer, right? If you are selling or promoting anything online right now, if you have your own product, if you're an affiliate, if you are a network marketer trying to build a team, right? If you're trying to build, a company right now, listen, this is not for the little guy marketer, right? Or at least not somebody who aspires to be a little guy. Because the stuff we're going to be talking about today, let me just put it like this: it's going to be for adults only. Right, for in the marketing world, obviously, in our space, what we're going to be talking about today. This is not going to be, some silly strategy that everybody's talked about for hundreds of times before. You guys will learn some serious marketing strategies tonight. So I do hope you take notes, because you can apply some of this stuff right in your business right away, and I hope you do. Right, run with them and see how great it's going to do for you. Now, if you guys can tell everybody else to refresh on their page so they can see the video going live right away, that would be cool. All right, and I'm fired up. So what I have, we're gonna be having a roundtable discussion today with some people that I've invited to the panel here tonight, and some of these guys are dynamite marketers in their own respective niches and with what they do. And why don't we just do a quick intro over here, guys, and then we're gonna dive into this thing and kick this off. So I got right next to me, I got Mr. Angelo Lombardo. Mr. Angelo, say hey to everybody.
Hey, everybody. Great to be here. Vic, thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. Great to have you on, brother. So, maybe give everybody a 30-second commercial of who you are, what you do, that kind of stuff, before we get into the content here.
Absolutely. So, currently, I'm a senior executive at the Coca-Cola Company, and my job is to basically drive sales for Coke. And I do that through creating incredible marketing and sales programs. And so my goal here, why am I here? Why did I get involved? Because you know what? Number one, I am absolutely enamored of entrepreneurs. I think somebody out there saying, listen, I'm going to step out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make something of myself. I'm going to take myself to a better place. It's interesting. You live in this world, Vic, and so, you see it every day. But, I don't. And I realize what's such a small portion of the population. We have 1,500 people in climbing, right? But here's the thing. There's 6 billion people in the world. And so think of what a small portion that is in terms of people willing to step out and take a risk. So I want to take the skills that I've learned over 25 years of building marketing programs and motivation. To succeed in a big corporation, it's not just about technical skills. It's about motivating yourself every day, especially when things are hard and it seems like it's a grind, to get out there and push through and be successful. I want to take those and share it with this, because I think every single entrepreneur who's willing to take that risk deserves to be successful.
Absolutely.
All of these people deserve to be successful, and I want to share that knowledge in the hope that I can somehow contribute to their success. So that's what Angelo is all about, and that's why I'm here.
Awesome. See, what I'm excited about, about bringing you on is, you literally work with one of the biggest giants that's out there in the world right now. The Coca-Cola company, and so bringing your perspective to the online. Here's an idea for you guys, right? So we're marketers. A lot of times we live in our own little space, right? As marketers, and we fish in the same ponds a lot and things like that, right? If you have been a marketer for more than 2 days, you know exactly what I'm talking about. How do you go from being, just a marketer to being the real deal, right? What you do is you take a lot of the ideas, and this is a, number one big secret from Vic to you for free, no charge for this one, all right? You guys go out there and go and pull ideas that's outside of your industry, implement them into your marketing, into this industry, boom, you have a big boom in your business. We're going to be talking about that. So Angelo, I'm super pumped about having you on as a panelist over here because it's going to be awesome. Mr. Jason, how are you, my friend?
You know, Vic, if I was any better, I would change my name to Vic Strice Shoes. That's how good I am.
Hey, man, it's great to see you, brother. I know you've been traveling the world here lately. You're back. You just got back yesterday, right? Last night.
Late last night, yeah, we got in from Alaska.
Right, appreciate you. And so, if those guys who have no idea who Jason is, he is he's more than a friend. He is number one. He is a super marketer. That's like a supercharged on top of that super thingy, right? So if you can imagine that, and he's also a partner in High Traffic Academy over here, and he has a very unique background. So Jason, tell the world who you are before we dig into some of the content.
Yeah, Vic, I'm excited about this this broadcast, and you're right, it's live. Everyone who's watching it right now, we're getting the first-hand knowledge, and this is going to be a real fun afternoon or evening for others, depending on where you're located. We're in Southern California right now, where it's just after 11 a.m., and it is absolutely fantastic. I love it. I've been in .com since, gosh, almost the beginning. Literally going on 20 years now. As of 2016, we'll make 20 years in the .com space, and frankly, it's the best thing since pockets and sliced bread. I am enamored and I love it. I started in .coms back when email marketing was an idea, when co-registration began its whole beginning, when sending out an email that said win a free iPod or win a free Xbox was innovative and exciting. I began running campaigns back in the days of Netscape Navigator and Alta Vista and things of that nature. And the world was different back in those days. But I literally began the online advertising space back in the infancy days, building technology, running email campaigns, running affiliate campaigns. I've joined the boards of many affiliate networks. I've built affiliate networks. I've literally driven billions of clicks in my 20 years. I've designed thousands of .com websites. I've built hundreds of thousands of landing pages. I can't tell you how many they've done and put together. I've owned an agency with over 150 employees with offices in London, Germany, Australia, France, Germany, Canada, and Mexico, and of course Southern California. So I'm an old guy in the .com space. I mean, literally, I've been around since the very beginning days, and I've learned a lot the hard way and the easy way. And the main reason I decided to go ahead and join in and get involved in helping to give back is literally to sow a seed to the next generation. I mean, I started at the beginning. I'm here today, and frankly, I've done more .com programs than I can ever think about. And I retired years ago, and now I'm here to give back and help others to grow. And that's the cool thing. No matter what your business is, no matter what organization you're working with, no matter what you're trying to market or promote, having a proper online strategy that works, that makes sense, and that converts above all else is essential. And the thing I want to talk about today is how to do that. I'm going to go through, once we get through the process, and it gives me a few minutes. I want to open up a conversation to talk about a real great program that I refer to as SWAT. And those of you who have actually been in the business space understand what that is, and we'll talk about it in greater detail. But if you could open up your Pandora's box for a moment and look at a crystal ball and say to yourself, how do I monetize the web? How do I run affiliate advertising campaigns? Well, that's the one thing I want to go into. That's the one thing I want to teach. That's the one thing I want to show somebody how to take an idea, a path, and a process and turn that into money in their pocket to pay for the kids' college funds, to pay for the mortgage, to pay the rent, to put food on the table, and to build a lifestyle that is absolutely and positively beyond reproach and ecstatic and wonderful. And that's what the .com space has shown me in 20 years of doing it. And that's the one thing I want to give back to every single person which is around us and listening to us. And with all the thousands of people who come and knock on the door at HTA, that's the big ticket, teaching someone how to fish. That's my story, brother. That's who I am.
Love it, brother, love it. And I can't wait to dig into some of the content. And you just mentioned something. You just said the word strategy, which I love, because as a marketer, guys, here's tip number 2, free of charge. Right? Here's the thing. every single move you make as a marketer. Doesn't matter if it's a Facebook post, whether it's an email sent out, whether it's, you shot a video and put it on YouTube, whether it's whatever you do, every single move you make as a marketer needs to have a strategy behind it. And if you don't have a strategy, you're just like another marketer. You don't want to be in that boat, trust me. All right, so we'll talk about that. Mr. Dan Ziegler, how are you, my friend?
I am great, Vic. So happy to be here.
Oh man, it's great to see your face again. It's been a while since we've been all busy and all that kind of stuff. Folks, Dan is also one of the partners here in High Traffic Academy, and he is somebody who is not definitely by any stretch of imagination not typical gentleman. When I met you, we started talking about what we like to talk about best, which is, in my world, it's traffic and conversions and how do you take traffic, how do you live, that's kind of my world. That's what I'm passionate about, right? And when I met you, that opened up a whole different world to me when it comes to traffic, which is, how do you actually, play this traffic game to where you never, ever have to depend on anybody else for traffic. Not any traffic vendor, not any company. You can literally become your own traffic source, and that's, you're the guy, I like to refer to as the master of data, right? And I want to get into some of that stuff. 30 seconds. Who's Dan Ziegler? What you got, man?
Sure. Thank you. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been on my own in business in one way or another for almost 20 years. I'm an old guy as well, like Jason, and actually I got him by about 6 months. My dear 1969 friend there. And so I've been in and around the data business, in and around the use of data in businesses that I've been involved with, in brands that we've developed, in companies that I've worked with for 20 plus years. And I've gotten to see the use of data grow up. Everyone talked about big data and small data, relevancy and non-relevancy. I saw the world of the online marketer change dramatically. I was one of the first members of the Affiliate Summit. I've been to over 17 of them. If many of you, I had the pleasure of meeting at this year's Affiliate Summit in New York City last week. It was an honor to get Skype messages and text messages saying, "Oh my God, you're here. Can we meet up? Can we have coffee?" And so I'm really honored, and I was touched that so many people reached out to me to talk about affiliate marketing and performance marketing. I'm also a student. I'm a student of learning and knowledge, and so every single day for me is about doing better and gaining more information and knowledge. But I've amassed what I like to call a little war chest of strategies and processes, best practices, as I like to say, for things that really fundamentally do work. One of them is a better use of data. And some people have bought data or had data for years. The other is how to aggregate it, how to get your own data file, how to clean it, how to maintain it, how to organize it, how to find common processes and offers that your consumers mostly interested in. And for all online marketers, I know we've talked about traffic generation. It seems that a lot of people are dependent on others to drive their traffic. For me, it's about the consumer experience and really digging down and understanding what the needs of that customer is. And so I'm really excited. We met over a year ago, Vic, and your marketing message and your ability to want to help people and not just give them a handout, but a hand up and show them how to be more effective, whether it's $50 extra a month or $5,000 extra a month, whatever their goals are. And that's really what got me to sort of switch gears from building brands for companies to sort of taking some of that knowledge and turning it into an education platform with you and with Jason and with Angelo and all the other faculty members. I literally stopped my, forgive the, although I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, forgive the attire. Everyone knows me as normally a buttoned-up collared guy, but we were walking out the door to the beach. You hit me on Skype. You said, "Hey, man, we want to do a live cast today. Can you stop what you're doing? I need you on the board. I need you to introduce you." I just said, "Okay," and I had some running around and some honeydew things to do. I'm in New York, so it's 2:15 New York time here. And I just came upstairs into my office. So for many of you that see me for the first time, it's a little more dressed down for Dan Ziegler, but I figured it's a casual Saturday, so forgive me for that. I'm really excited to be here, Beck. I'm really excited to get things going for everybody.
Yeah, awesome. You know what's really, really cool about this, you guys? As we have, 1,700 people in climbing over here. Awesome. Guys, what's really, really exciting, right? Is it doesn't, like, you might be hearing all these guys and I've been online in this space for 20 years, and these guys have been online, an old-timer, right, in the marketing world, and Angelo over there is working, on literally running a division of Coca-Cola. And obviously the strategy we're going to be talking about right here, folks, you can have the biggest advantage over your competition from the information you're going to learn tonight. So definitely pay close attention. Listen, you don't have to do anything if you don't want, right? But I suggest you do. Let me tell you why. I started out in this industry in 2005, right? Did not have I actually had to borrow a lot of money to get started, and lived in a very ghetto neighborhood, 1-bedroom apartment with my wife. We did not have kiddos at that time. Now we've been blessed with 5 children, 6 on the way here coming up within a month. The good Lord blessed me, tremendously. But here's the thing: I had to do my part, right? I had to stay hungry, and I had to be a good student, and I had to be like a sponge when it comes to this, because I really wanted to succeed as an internet marketer. And I got to the point, my lowest point in my life was when we did not have $1.19 to my name. Not that long ago. I can remember like yesterday, right? I would never want to go back there, but that memory, right, keeps me straight, and keeps me want to serve, and keeps me want to do what we're doing here with High Traffic Academy, and get as many people to break through as possible, because I know what it's like to struggle, and I also know what it's like to be on the other side of the fence, right? So I got started, in this space just like everybody else. Very broke, no money. I'm going to tell you how, what I did to succeed. But fast forward, folks, because I was a good student, because I was learning from somebody who was way more successful than I was, and because I did not ask questions, right? See, here's a third. I think it's tip number 3 right now, right? If you want to be successful, learn from somebody who is way more successful than you are, and don't ask questions, okay? Just model and implement. Be a good implementer and fast implementer. That's what I was, right? And it worked really well for me. So I was fortunate enough to study from somebody who was earning about $200,000 a month in this space, and he was telling me some things. And one of the things that he told me, he's like, Vic, you got to separate yourself from the crowd. And we're going to talk, this is a lot of what we're going to talk about tonight, right, is you cannot be just like another marketer. If you want to become a super affiliate, you have got to do things a little bit differently from what everybody else is doing, how everybody else is running their business. So how do you go from just getting started to building a really successful business on the internet and working from home and have this lifestyle that everybody's talking about, right, and dreaming about? Well, I can tell you this: it's possible. Fast forward, I started to, differentiate myself and start really running my business on a little bit of a different level, which we're going to talk about. The rest is history, as they say. Within about 90 days, I was able to turn everything around in my life. And one thing that I wanted to become really good at, because that's what my mentor recommended I do. Number 2 is because I saw the opportunity and I saw the landscape of marketing, and is this: if I can learn traffic generation, and if I can learn how to convert that traffic into leads and sales, I don't have to worry about anything else. I don't have to worry about where the money is going to come from. I don't have to worry about where I can live, or when can I travel, where can I travel, what kind of car I can drive, right? You can literally write your own ticket in life. You can write your own ticket, and so it's getting to that level. So I decided consciously, right? My conscious decision, deliberately, I decided, what, I'm gonna get really good at this traffic generation game and converting that traffic into leads and sales. And that's what I have been studying and been, the student of the game for the last 10 years. And it worked out really well. So, it ventured out into creating funnels, obviously, and some of the other things. And I just want to share with you guys, give you an idea, right, give you a glimpse of what's possible, right, when you learn and when you apply some of these strategies. Let me see if I can do a screen sharing here, and then we are going to dive into this thing. Screen share, where are you? All right, I think it's this one here. Guys on the panel here, let me know if you guys can see this, if this is showing up, if my screen is showing up.
Yes. Okay,
so folks, take a look at this, right? We're running a campaign right now, right? And it's a campaign that we've generated, and so this is real time. This is web browser. It's not a screenshot. This is see if I hover over this thing goes like this. Actually, I'm gonna reload this just to give you an idea, right, of the strategy we're gonna be talking about here. So take a look at this, right? Yep, see, it just went up by $1,000, over $1,000. So far today, we've generated $12,101, right? $12,000, and it's only half a day right here, right? Yesterday's sales, 22,000, as you can see here. The last 7 days, 228,000 within a week. Right? It's not like a year; it's a week, right? It's the last 7 days. Real-time stats over here. Last 30 days right here, right? 489,000, over nearly $500,000 in 30 days, and it's a campaign that we're running now. Take a look at this, right? $224,000 in monthly recurring. Now, why am I showing you this? Right, I'm showing you this for a couple. Let me stop sharing my screen here so I can be back here. I'm showing you this for a couple of reasons. Number one, pay attention to the strategies you're going to be learning, because this stuff works. Okay, and I don't care what unless you do more than this per month, I suggest you pay attention. You know, the stuff we're going to be talking about right now is stuff that works today, not a year ago, because this is a campaign we're running today. And then also, as you guys watching this, keep in mind that if you would like to have an opportunity to work with us and literally be coached and guided through a guided campaign, right? We are going to be starting that. A lot of you guys know who are High Traffic Academy members. Next week, right, we're starting a brand new guided campaign promotion, and you'll have the opportunity. And you guys, at any given time, if you would like to run with us, this is totally optional. Feel free to join High Traffic Academy, and you'll be able to participate in this guided campaign, because we know a couple things. We know traffic, and we know how to create winning campaigns, right? And so together, you know, we can coach you and literally walk with you, which is an opportunity that's not available all the time. But starting next week, we're going to do this for High Traffic Academy members. So just a little side note there for you right there. So guys, on the panel, what I'd like to do right now is, why don't we jump in and maybe just talk about our biggest, you know, maybe it's a breakthrough, maybe how did you start in business, you know, and what allowed you to build, you know, what were some of the points or you know, milestones or breakthroughs that allowed you to take your business to another level and ultimately get you to where you are today, that would be applicable for, you know, online marketers or somebody who's promoting anything on the internet right now.
You know, it's funny. You should ask that question about, you know, what works and what doesn't work. And I can look back through a lot of successes I've had in the online space. And for every success I've had, Vic, and I know Angelo and Dan can attest to this one, and we can jump in and talk about all this one. And I like to just kind of run us through a methodology that I've used, that I know Dan's familiar with, and I'm intimately familiar that Angelo has used a ton of times, and he's got his MBA in actually a real university, not just a school of hard knocks, that actually applies the same thing. But I tell you, my father, 49 years in the Army, and a doctorate from Oxford University, Cambridge, a very learned man, taught me a great deal about how to run a business. And I've applied those methodologies and those missions to my online business models. And every time I look around at any kind of an online campaign, the very first thing, and this is free, and those who join HTA learn these processes specifically, is I start with their strength. And the strength associated with what I'm offering, with the product offering, is the first thing I look at. And there's four things to look at. We can go over one by one, but I'm going to start with that one, and that will kind of dovetail into great successes. The strength I look at literally around the product I'm going to sell and the people I'm trying to engage with. So literally what I do is I sit down a lot of times, Vic, is I take a sheet, a piece of paper, and I write down the strengths of the products that I'm offering. What are the features? What are the benefits? If it's an affiliate campaign that I'm running, what are the strengths of this affiliate campaign? Let's say I'm going to run a Travelocity or an Expedia campaign. What benefits do I offer? Far too often, marketers decide to put together a campaign that goes to an affiliate network, download some creative, put them out there, run some social media to it, and spend some money, buy some clicks, and buy some traffic. And unfortunately, all that does is get them to spend money in places they don't need to. There is no strategy. So before I can even put together a strategy, before I can look back at all the programs I've done before, I got to start with a strength. And I write them down one by one by one. That develops the monetization strategy for the program. So whatever the campaign might be, whether it be promoting a dry cleaner or promoting a chiropractor or promoting anything else, I want to write down every single strength. It's like being married. If you look at your wife or your husband or your spouse and you're trying to figure out how to make your marriage an amazing marriage, the first thing every therapist tells you to do is make a list of the things that you really, really love about the person and the things you really, really don't like about the person and the things you can deal with and things you can't deal with, right? This is like counseling 101, right, for people who are going through marital moments or boyfriend and girlfriend moments. You always start with an assessment, and that assessment literally opens a door for whether or not the campaign you're going to run will be successful or not. We have taught thousands of people every single day how to look at a campaign. I can tell you right now that Dan Ziegler, can look at a campaign as clearly as I can look at that campaign and tell you that it will make money on the web or it will not make money on the web. Because we start with a needs assessment and a monetization strategy that says, does the campaign offer this point, that point, additional points? So I'll go over all of them with you. I have no problem teaching them and explaining them all the points of a campaign you should look at to understand what it is. I don't have a problem teaching people how to effectively put together an eCPM, how to put together an EPC, how to make sure that backs into a proper CPM to buy traffic, or what the CPA should be. And for some of those who are just new to the industry, they're asking themselves the question, what's an eCPM, an ICBM, a KP, an MP? What are these questions? They have no idea. These are all new things. And that's literally what High Traffic Academy starts with. It begins with teaching people from the very, very beginning exactly what makes sense. So I look at the strengths. I run campaigns literally every single day, and for years I've generated millions and millions of clicks and millions of traffic programs. I can give you wonderful, great stories, and I'll walk into them. But I love to get Dan's thoughts on the strengths of a campaign, Angelo's thoughts on the strengths of a business strategy, and if you're good with it, Vic, because you are the man, myth, and legend. Let's open that door and let's begin opening the door. What's the strengths that we look for in picking a campaign or developing a marketing strategy? Dan, what are your thoughts?
So I'm going to so strength number one for me is relevancy. I have to look at how relevant is the product or service that I'm trying to sell. Is it value-based, or is my ultimate goal where the action is the ringing of the register? Meaning, do I ultimately want the action to be a sign-up? Do I want the action to be a purchase? Do I want the action to be the movement somewhere else inside my site? So it's how relevant is the content. And if you're starting with email, how relevant is the subject line will affect your open rate. How relevant is the content in the email itself, that will affect your click-through rate. And then how relevant is your website. And the relevancy or the pinpoint accuracy of how well you're managing the consumer experience. How well are we managing the marketing message in very small segments in order to affect the next step in the process? Because we're going to spend an hour talking about subject line and the pros and cons of a subject line and how that really is the holy grail for some marketers, and for other marketers it's about inbox. And then we're going to talk about content inside the body of your email itself. Because I analyze each one of those processes, and you have to make changes to each one. But for me, the number one thing that I looked at from a consumer experience is relevancy, and how good of a job did we do at making sure that the marketable message started with something relevant to the consumer. It may lead towards value or it may lead towards sale, but are we speaking the same language to them? That's really, for me, the highest on my list, rather than just stuffing something.
Isn't it the exact same thing, Dan, when it comes to Google and pay-per-click campaigns? And I know, Josh O'Shea, who's a member of the faculty member, talks about it all the time. When you're going to run an effective pay-per-click campaign, Google determines how much money you're going to be charged on a per-click basis based on the quality score, which is determined by the relevancy of the ad group, the relevancy of the campaign, the relevancy of the keyword you're selecting, and the relevancy of the landing page you're driving traffic to. So if all those things don't align themselves up so Google can give you really relevant traffic, you'll spend more money for the same placement and the same position than the guy right next door who actually thought of the relevancy of the process. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. That's exactly. I mean, I didn't know the word that Google was using years ago. I was just trying to play as a consumer. My biggest strength is the fact that I'm really good at front of the house and back of the house. So I look at it from a marketer's perspective, but then, like you had talked about, as far as looking at a campaign and breaking it and saying this will work and this will not work, the reason we do that so well as experienced marketers, Jason, is because we look at it first as a consumer. Is that speaking to me? Is it relevant? Does it make sense? Is it engaging? Are there formatting errors? Are there grammatical errors? And is it leading me down the path of something that I'm interested in? So we wear our marketer hat first and foremost as a consumer, because we're all consumers. Vic's a consumer, I'm a consumer, we buy things all day long. And Google figured out the algorithm, Facebook has figured out an algorithm in order to rank those relevancies, and depending on the overall score of the general public, the more people that vote or search or click or link, that obviously, there's a lot more to it than just that one of those four things. But to me, number one is how relevant is the information. And if you can stay on message, which Angela's going to talk about, stay on message I think you have a much greater chance of than just shotgunning out, something that's broad spectrum to a lot of people.
See, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
Good.
Well, I was gonna say this is so. I mean, this kind of information is for people who are just like generalists in the marketing game. That's why there's so many people. I mean, we surveyed thousands of people, right? And over something like it's not really 99.9% like the cliche is saying, right? In this industry, people don't make money. It's 96.7% is the actual true number, because I just showed it on the other day, and this is the most relevant information. People make less than like $1,000 a month, right? Which is crazy. Out of I don't know how many millions of people in this industry, when you include affiliate marketing, network marketing, internet marketers and people, info product owners and that kind of stuff. So many people just like you just said, just shotgunning out there, right? And they're shooting in the dark, not knowing what to do. And a lot of people now that Google kicked off so many marketers off their platform because they were not, they didn't know what they were doing. And that's actually a good thing. Every single thing that happens is actually a good thing if you can capitalize on it, right? So if you guys are paying attention, here's the thing. If you've been reading between the lines of what Jason, what you and Danny just said, which I love, is what if you just really learn, right, what's working for Google right now? It's virgin territory. There is almost nobody marketing and doing PPC with AdWords right now because everybody's afraid of it, right? But did you guys know there is a way for you to get back in the game, right, and start running Google AdWords? There is no competition because nobody's doing this. And if you learn the rules and if you play by the rules, not only are you going to be able to get massive and just ridiculous traffic, super targeted from Google, but it's going to help you in every other area of your marketing, business, because you apply those relevancy things in your business. See, when I create a campaign, it's like. Then you said it perfectly. You got to be your own customer, right? You got to be your own best customer first. So, what do you promote, right? Do you resonate with what you promote? Can you stand behind it 1,000%? Because if you can, with me it's very important because I can't promote anything I can't stand behind 1,000%. And then B, when you do that, you become your own customer, and what would you respond to? And there's got to be a slippery slope from when they first see your ad to what they see on your landing page to what they see in your offer in the email. And it's all those dots connecting in a strategic way. Magic happens in your business. So, love it, guys.
I'm gonna, if you'll let me, I'm gonna screen share something because we're on strengths, and we'll get to step 2 in a second. But we'll start with strengths, and I want to get to Angelo because I really love to hear what he's going to add to the value of the strengths. But since we're there, we're talking about relevancy, and we're talking about what a good ad campaign looks like. I'm going to go ahead and do if I can do it properly, I'm going to do a screen share with you here as well, if you don't mind, Vic. I run pay-per-click, and I run a ton of pay-per-click. And can you see my screen there for a second there?
Yes, it's up.
This is my Google AdWords campaign, and this is a Google AdWords campaign for one of the 9 different companies which I own, plus a large consultancy. And this is, as you can take a look, this is last month's Google pay-per-click spend. I have literally spent $122,000 last month at Google. This month alone, just take a look at this. This is just real data. We know what we're talking about. This month alone, we're only in the 8th day of the month. I've already spent $30,000 across the board in my pay-per-click campaign. This is money that we have spent like crazy. If I want to take a look at the amount of money I have spent literally. Let's see here. Can I get the year? All time would take this thing forever in a month of Sundays. But
hey, Jason, as you're doing this, I'm not sure if you can actually zoom in on the actual screen to make it a little bit, bigger or not.
For sure, brother. My apologies. Yep, you got it.
Easier to read. There you go. Perfect.
There you go. Take a look at this one. This is a campaign. This is this month's number, so you can see a little bit better. This is this month, 30 grand this month, and we'll take a look at what last month was. And then last month, there it is again. There's $122,000. Google loves me. This is a website called mydivorcepapers.com. It's one of my sites. This is a different business. It's not HTA. It's a separate company. This is basically a product we're driving traffic to all day long. And literally $122,000. And it's not exactly something we do every single day. I mean, literally, we can't spend enough money in Google, and we haven't even got to the Bing campaign. And all this really works entirely based on the fact that we are driving traffic to relevant landing pages. if I'm going to drive traffic on Google and pay-per-click, I'm going to drive traffic with a landing page that is dynamic, that is unique, that is specific. I'm going to get my quality scores down. I'm going to run these campaigns all day long. If you can tell me, if you've driven this kind of money on a Google campaign alone, then I want to learn from you. But the bottom line is, as Vic just said again ago, if I went ahead and go and say, all right, from January through now, I have spent $810,000 of my own personal money, literally, at Google alone, driving pay-per-click campaigns and driving traffic to relevancy. The strength of a campaign is determined entirely by the relevancy of what you're going to put into it. Van said relevancy, number one and first and foremost, the strength of that campaign. I also add to that campaign, I say not just the relevancy, but also the display, what I present. If I can present the message with relevancy, I'll make money. I spent 800 grand on Google. If you spent 800 grand on Google, and I got a huge return of that all day long, I can tell you exactly how we run it, and we got a campaign coming out to HGA family members only that will allow them the ability to learn pay-per-click strategies where you could spend this kind of money and not worry about it, not bat an eye. Who wouldn't want to engage a program like that can say, hold on for a second, I spent 30 grand in the first 8 days of a month on Google alone, plus my Bing budget, plus my Facebook budget, plus every other budget. I've spent millions of dollars. Whoops, lights go out. Hang on, like I love the office, automatic lights. And then presto.
Oh, you got that magical thing going over there, huh?
I got magic, exactly.
The light listens to you and it just pays attention to your movements, man. That's awesome.
I bought a pay-per-click campaign for it.
Love it.
But that's it. I mean, when you drive traffic, I mean, the landing pages for that divorce site, literally, when someone comes to it, we don't just use a Boolean search that says, give me the keyword of A, B, and C. We actually put together a campaign that takes every city, every county, every state, and put together ad groups around it. And Josh Roche, my chief marketing officer at McLean Concepts, was the founder of this idea. He invented the concept that we built from this .com we built in 2002. And so we can go into all that. When an HTA members get that information, they get kind of a strategy. So the first thing we look at is strengths we're putting together, the relevancy of the campaign, the relevancy of the ad group, the landing page. That 800 grand this year is built on literally hundreds of landing pages that we've created and we've put together. And we figured out which one converts and which one doesn't convert. And that's part of the strategy of a good online program, and we teach that sort of a thing. On top of that one, I think it's a good chance to pop over to Angela, unless you got something you want to add there, my friend.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. You know, as I look at those figures, and if I'm a complete newbie, I mean, obviously, I know what you guys are running just massive. You got to that point, obviously, by playing by the rules. You're not doing anything black hat or gray hat or anything like some of these guys are teaching out there. This is literally clean. You don't have to worry about your account getting shut down tomorrow or whatever. You guys have been doing that for a while, and you know, somebody who's totally new in this and trying to make it online, right? Guys, listen. Virgin territory with Google AdWords right now, but if you know the rules, if you know how to play it, the sky is the limit. You never, ever have to depend on anybody for traffic. And this is just one thing, right, that we're engaging here in High Traffic Academy is teaching you how to do. And we're going to be talking about another thing that's going to just blow your mind completely, right? So if you are taking notes, take notes. But Jason, I want to point out this. You didn't start out by, putting in $800,000 before you got it in. You start small. Talk about that. How do you guys start?
I started off literally with, one, picking the right campaign, picking the right product if I owned it. Two, developing the strengths of that one. And we're going to go over the analogy of a campaign in a moment. But literally, I started out literally spending $100. And that's where I started out. But before I spent the $100 at Google or at Yahoo or at Bing, before I did that one, I literally decided to figure out the campaign strategy. I knew I was going to make money before I launch any campaign on social media, before I launch any campaign in pay-per-click, before I ran any email campaign. If I sat here and told you exactly what I do from step to finish, you can sit down and model this step by step. There's a reason when you come to a website and someone asks you, do you like sewing or knitting, or do you like this or do you like that? There's a reason they're asking these questions. And there's a reason you can, and we take that data and we email market it. We use autoresponders. We use social retargeting. We use Google retargeting. We use Bing retargeting. We use AdRoll. We use VRoll. We use all these programs. But before I spend any money anywhere, and I've got a whole staff of people at McLean Concepts whose job is to run campaigns and develop strategies. That's what we do. Companies hire my firm to go out and help them build strategies. Now, that they hire us is their responsibility and their job, and we appreciate that, and we serve them. But what HTA does is literally come back and teach you and give you the tools associated to allowing you to build your own strategies. So before I spend that $100 on pay-per-click, I'm going to write the ad groups out. I'm going to write the campaigns out. But I can't write them out unless I understand the strengths of the campaign, the strengths of the offerings, and 3 other points we'll get into in a couple of seconds down the road. But the bottom line is I first start off with a strategy, and I write down every single point. The relevancy of the ad, the campaign we're putting together, all down the board. What do we do to make something work? Is it going to make us money before we spend money? A lot of people in this industry buy traffic. I've heard 1,000 times over and over and over and over again, and we can touch on that if you want. But they decide to go black hat. They decide to buy traffic from other sources. They're going to buy clicks. Listen, and I've done this for 20 years. You can believe me or not. If you spend $1 million in pay-per-click or a couple $1 million a year in pay-per-click on Google, I'll listen to you. But if you haven't, shut up, sit down, and listen.
I like the directness there, man.
I'm sorry, I've been doing it for too long.
No, I mean, Jason, you hit it right on the head. I mean, here's the thing: anybody can go out and just buy stuff. And you know, Vic, when you talk about the 96% of the people out there that end up not being successful in this space, it's because a lot of this is people just end up doing stuff, and then they so badly want to be successful, they start going down the route of being like, okay, I'm going to black hat this thing. But if you get back to what Jason's talking about and the strategy, see, this is where a lot of the other stuff out there doesn't really help people to the degree that they need it, because they're just looking to sell something. Oh, let me teach you how to get clicks. Let me teach you how to get people to open your email. Let me all that stuff. If you have a good solid strategy from beginning to end, you know what you want to do, you know what you want to market, you know your customer. We'll say that again. If you know your customer and you know how to market to your customer. Now, you talk about the stuff Jason's doing, boom, it is powerful. I mean, do you know what? So, what's funny is I go back to what I said earlier. The stuff that's done in these big, massive companies, these advertising campaigns, Budweiser, right? You look at these big, advertising campaigns that Budweiser or Heineken, whoever puts together, it's no different than this. What's your strategy? Who's your target? And then they go out and they find someone like Jason's company, and they're like, okay, this is the strategy, this is the messaging, this is the customer. Help us go out and target this to the best person. And now this is important. So if you're writing down a couple of things, I scribble this down somewhere. Now you're not just doing stuff, you're doing things that have a strategy and a point to it. And now you're taking a scalpel as opposed to taking just a kind of a sword. And the minute you start working with a scalpel, you're really targeted, you get really affected. So the stuff Jason's talking about, in terms of spending those money, spending the money on those AdWords and getting that return, it's because he knows exactly who he's going after, what the triggers are, and what's going to allow a response. So it's very, very powerful. So talking about strengths, that's the one thing I want everybody to take away, because it gets glossed over. And a lot of people, they get into the business like, no, I got to start making money, or I want to start making money. Take the time to build your strategy. Is it sexy? No. Do most people do it? No. Will it pay huge dividends? Absolutely. And that's what HTA is all about. It's not just selling people somebody. It's giving them the tools that they can use to be successful and get to the level that most of the people out there aren't. And I say that with all sincerity. So,
there's no get-rich-quick program, is there, Angelo? No. There's no way in the world that anybody can sit down and say, hey, yeah, I know I can make a lot of money, and I'm going to do it right away. And I've said this before, and you and I have talked about this one. Forget the money for a minute. If you want to build business, put together a budget, and then start strategizing and put together a plan. And I'll walk you through the plan. I'll show you step by step by step. Dan will, Angelo, Vic will. I'll show you step by step by step. At 8 o'clock in the morning, do this. At 8:30, do that. At 9 a.m., do this one. Do not ever think about, oh my gosh, I can't wait to make all the money. It is a fool's errand, a stupid decision, a dumb choice for anyone to say, I can't wait to make this much money. Don't think about the money. Think about the strategy, and let me show it to you. Let Vic show it to you. Let us show you the step-by-steps. And I'll tell you, this is what we're going to do, step by step by step. I was saying a moment ago earlier, do not go to some guy and buy clicks. That's a get-rich-quick program.
It's a total get-rich-quick program, and I want to just really emphasize something you just said. So you talk about working for these big corporations. I've worked for a lot of them, and at no time when I've sat in a planning meeting in which we're getting ready to launch a campaign or something, have we sat there and said, okay, let's go out and make $500 million. No, it doesn't work that way. It's what's the strategy, what do we need to do, what do we need to deploy it, and then we let the money come. Now, do we have goals that we want to get to? Absolutely. But we don't just sit there and say, hey, let's go out and make a ton of money. You know, we have our objectives, but then we put together the strategy, we put together the plan, and see, that's the thing. And again, I want to go back to it, because I'm so passionate about this. A program like you're talking about, Jason, that teaches everybody, you know, step 1, step 2, you know, what to do at 8, what to do at 9, etc. You know, that's a process. So again, big reveal number 2. You know what goes on in all those huge office buildings across the world? Process. Major companies are built on process. And if you can build good, repeatable processes, then it just becomes a machine. Nobody goes in every day and says, okay, how am I going to reinvent what we're doing today? No, the key is identifying where you don't have processes and where you're not being successful and creating a repeatable process. Because once that's done, then it's just like boom, 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 boom. What you do, right, Jason? I've seen you with your team. It's all about working the process, for the right customer, for the right program, and everything else just follows. So, Jason, you so well said. Don't think of the money. Think of the strategy and what you need to do to get you to where you need to be.
I want to share this. You know, coming from, you know, you guys coming from, you know, this big corporate background, and Angela, obviously, you know, Coca-Cola and all this, which is great. Bringing those strategies into your online marketing experience or network marketing experience, you guys can absolutely blow your competition out of the water very, very quickly. Okay, so I hope you're paying attention to this. But you know, my background is affiliate marketing, network marketing, and you know, and the strategy that really works for me, you know, perfectly is this: don't be a generalist, be a specialist, right? And so, as you know, what's a generalist? Well, a generalist is going to do whatever, you know, he's going to be like that, it's like that rabbit running, you know, in the field, right? It's just all over the place, right? You see a shiny object over here, you're gonna run here. You're gonna somebody says, hey, follow me over here. I'm gonna teach you how to make 20,000. Boom, they're doing this strategy and this strategy. So they're all over the place. And end result, 96.7% of people make almost no money. Okay, in our space right now. Now, my strategy is be a specialist. Now, that's gonna do a couple things to you. Number one, right, it will position you head and shoulders above your competition. Okay, you get the recognition, you get the prestige, you get the the accolades, and all. If that's what your thing is, that's not what I'm doing this for. You know, I'm doing this to build something great, right? But if you're after those, like I was a part of the network marketing company, never did network marketing in my life before. A couple years ago, got into a network marketing company, applied the strategies by being be a specialist type strategy, right? Within 3 weeks, became #1 income earner out of over 300,000 people, literally, right? And I think like 2 years I was running with them, made over $4.5 million personal commissions in the bank. Now, this is not a guarantee that you're going to do the same thing, obviously, but it goes to show you how relevant this stuff is when you apply it strategically. See, every single move is a strategy. And so that's number one. Thing number two, what it's going to give you is it's going to give you clarity, and it's going to keep you grounded, right? And it's going to keep you on course. So, while all these, I like to call them the 98 percenters, right, or the 97 percenters that's out there who are just running around everywhere trying to, out compete their competition, right, not knowing what they're doing. You have a clear path that you follow, and that whatever campaign you're going to put out, it will be a success because you know the strategies. So, love it, guys. And we're not even talking about this is just with one of the traffic sources that obviously we're teaching inside of High Traffic Academy. And speaking of High Traffic Academy, guys, because we're going to give you a whole lot more value here in just a moment, I would like to, guys on the panel, if that's okay with you, I would like to to do a little plug, right, for High Traffic Academy, because look, I can look anybody in the eye right now and tell you that if you are a marketer, if you're building a business on the internet right now, regardless of what you're selling, right, and if you don't understand these strategies, you are missing out big time. And so I can tell you this, right, looking you right through this camera, right into your eye, if you're paying attention to me, I'm going to tell you this. If you're not a part of High Traffic Academy and you want to build a massively successful business, right, it's going to be virtually impossible unless you want to do trial and error for yourself, right? So I'm going to invite you to become a member of High Traffic Academy right now. You can do it at a discount before the price goes up. There should be a timer right below this video, but here's the coolest part, right? As a member of High Traffic Academy, see what we do is our mission is to empower an entrepreneur in any field, in any company, in anything that you're doing out there, whether if you're your own boss, you're selling your own product, or you're marketing affiliate products. We want to be a company, and we are the company that shows you the way and how to take these strategies and apply it to anything you want to apply it to, and become the superstar in any company you want to, that you're running with. Does that make sense? So maybe if we can take 30 seconds, Jason, Dan, and Angela, and just do a round circle. What are you guys' thoughts on High Traffic Academy? Because obviously, Jason and Dan, you guys became partners in the company here, and coming from where you live in your world, there had to be something that's more attractive to you, in High Traffic Academy for you to consider it. And Angela, you're a faculty member in High Traffic Academy, so give your perspectives on what's going on here.
Sure.
Please go ahead, Angela.
Sure. Thanks. Well, I want to basically give you my impressions because I'm not an owner. I was invited to come and be a faculty member, and Jason will tell you this. My first response was, listen, Jason, I don't need to be involved in anything. I've got a busy enough life between the teaching I do, at church, the speaking programs I do, the articles I write, and then of course my day job, which is running an entire division for a very large company. I run a third of the United States, so it keeps me busy. But more important, I was really suspicious of what's out there in cyberspace, because a lot of the things that we've talked about, there's people out there just trying to get other people's money. And when Jason sat down and he shared the vision with me, I said, this is different. This is empowering people. And, I go back to what I just said because I think it's really important. I had no financial need to get involved. Coca-Cola treats me really well. I got people that are, very generous when they want me to come and speak to their groups. Money, a good living for my family is not an issue. But when I saw the ability to empower people to go out there and take control of their lives, it was dynamic, and I really wanted to be a part of it. So that's the thing, Vic, Jason, Dan. I mean, you guys are giving people everything they need. It's not just stuff. It's not just looking to get inside somebody's pocket. So that's my impression, and that's why I wanted to offer my insights to be able to help.
And what I love about what you do here as a faculty member, Angela, is you bring in your perspective from running one of the giants of the world, a third a division of of a company, and seeing that perspective, bringing into High Traffic Academy for members, I can't wait for your trainings to actually engage within HTA, which is going to happen here, guys. Here in about a week or so, it's going to be awesome, because when you, as a marketer, apply what a multi-billion-dollar company is doing in their business today in marketing division, apply it in your affiliate marketing, your network marketing, man, you don't have a competition. You don't have to worry about a competition. You know what I'm saying? Love it.
Well, and here's one more quick thing. I'm sorry. And the thing is, Vic, that's funny. It's ridiculously easy. Nothing done in corporate America is hard. it's all easy. It's just a matter of knowing it, and that's the thing. A lot of people just don't know it, but it's ridiculously easy. And I tell a funny story about that in the training. But yeah, absolutely. So great stuff,
Mr. J.
Yeah, I tell you. Vic, it is humbling, I think is the best word to use, and exciting. There is absolutely no other program that I've been exposed to, that I've seen or come across in 20 years in .coms that actually gives practical step-by-step training. I joined High Traffic Academy. I became an owner in this company for one specific reason: to give back to every other budding entrepreneur who's out there who believes that if you've got a computer, a keyboard, and access to the World Wide Web, that you can build a family, you can build relationships, you can build a revenue stream, you can step out into your tomorrows, you can create something great. And no one teaches it. I can't go off to some university down the street and get a program on online marketing. I can't go anywhere. And frankly, I wouldn't want to learn from these guys because they're all morons and they're all idiots. The bottom line is, I've been in the industry. No one can teach it more than someone who's been in the trenches. If I'm in a battle and I'm trying to make a financial battle work, I'm literally fighting every single day to pay for the mortgage, the rent, the kids' college, this, that, and every other bill you've got. If I'm in that trench of life, I'm experiencing that one position that says, I need a way out of today. I need a mentor, I need a teacher, I need a program that gets me out. I am sick and tired, with God as my secret judge, sick and tired of people selling clicks to these guys and gals in HTA or any other family or any other program or this network or that network. I'm sick and tired of, okay, lights, boom, boom, there we go. I'm sick and tired of seeing people take advantage of those who don't know any better, who've never been taught, who've never been given the tools. I'm sick of seeing it. Every single day, with God as my judge, I'm sick of it. I love my wife. I love my children. I've been in this space forever, in a month of Sundays. I know what works and what doesn't. And frankly, all I want to do is teach it. All I want to do is help somebody go from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 to level 4. That's all I really want to do. And so why is HTA a good program? Why is it the best one out there? Why should you become part of this family? And no matter what it really takes within the reality of life, if you want to learn the online business, I have thousands of customers who come down my door. I see millions of people for the past 20 years who have come and worked with me in some capacity or another in building online strategies and programs and running clicks and running campaigns. I've seen it in the world. I've spoken at trade shows. I've been all across the place. No one teaches the real deal. HTA does. So I'm part of this organization to help others grow, to give back. I don't need the money because the money doesn't come to me. I build systems. I like building companies. I retired in 2008. I'm done. I've got 3 kids. They're taken care of. My days and my time, I just came back from a trip with my family, as you know, Vic, and everyone else does. And I'm off literally on an Alaskan cruise with my girls before the summer is over. And I come back and literally on the plane and in the car coming back from the boat when I finally got a slimmer of internet connection, I'm talking to the family at High Traffic Academy, answering questions, engaging them in the car coming back down from Los Angeles International Airport. My job is to give back to you people. My job is to help you do this. And if I can show one person what to do to help them make more money tomorrow than they did today, man, I fulfilled a dream. I really have, because I'm part of this to help others grow. And there's no other program out there. Frankly, there's no other program out there that really works and teaches specific strategy. That's my position, brother.
It's the coolest thing when you empower people and people go out there and implement and get results. You know, it's the best thing in the world. Guys, if before we get to you, I wanna say this real quick. If you are watching this and if you're new, we're going to be talking. I want to get into, and this is going to be, Dan, a little conversation with you again here in a moment. But we're going to introduce you to another whole different way of traffic generation idea and strategy. And some of you guys who are watching this, right? If you are paying attention, you will get tons. One idea implemented, right? One good idea implemented can make you a millionaire, right? One idea missed can keep you broke. So I really hope that you are paying attention over here, because there has already been several ideas that you can take away from this. Another thing that we're about to talk about is going to allow you to never, ever, ever depend on anything for traffic, which is coming up here. Somebody is new, right? Maybe you're thinking here, if you have never promoted or made money on the internet, but this is your desire. If you're like, man, I don't even know what to promote, right? I don't even know, where to start with this thing, right? We got you covered as well. If as you're listening to this, and if you would like to be a part of something that's awesome, that empowers people, and also can help you get started in this industry and start, building a business, start making money. You don't have to have a product. You don't have to have a website. We went out there and then we've contracted and partnered up with some networks that's out there, and we can literally set you up, as an affiliate with offers and programs that's converting right now, and help you run those programs and teach you so you can start, making the money on the internet. That's all it's all about, right? It's coaching, and it's for beginners, for mid-level people, and for advanced marketers. There is something for everybody over here. So Dan, what attracted you to High Traffic Academy? Why, a guy caliber as you are, wanted to be a part of this?
It's a great question. Thank you. I've made a lot of mistakes in the online marketing world. I think that's how my knowledge bank got filled with the right and the wrong. I've seen online marketers like myself struggle independently. I've been involved with some groups and some co-ops. I've bought clicks. I've bought email data. I've forgotten process. I never had strategy. I didn't understand relevancy. And so over the 20 years, as email and as marketing has changed the face of the internet, I've made enough mistakes and spent enough of my money and my partner's money to recognize what's working and what doesn't work. So the idea and the ability to give back the knowledge and help young marketers and first-time marketers avoid some of the pitfalls that push them right out of the industry after they've spent, $500, $1,000, $5,000, and they get discouraged was interesting. You, of course, and your strategy of giving back and providing a level of service and helping legions of individuals that both converge from the network marketing world and the MLM world and the affiliate space and performance world that I've lived in for the last decade or so was so intriguing to be able to put together a group of faculty members like Angelo Lombardo and myself and Jason and the dozens of other faculty members that are going to come into High Traffic Academy over the next few months that are going to teach, Josh Roche on PPC mastery and individuals on teaching you best practices from a legal perspective and how to avoid trademark infringement. I mean, those are real business tactics. That's how to grow from an independent marketer sitting in your home office, marketing a product that you were given and following a strategy, to someone who one day could be sitting where Jason McLean is. I mean, he started as an independent entrepreneur. He went to the School of Hard Knocks. He tried, he failed, he succeeded, and then he's grown and grown and grown. Angelo, same thing. He's gone from company to company, growing his knowledge bank, I'm sure he's made mistakes, because I think we all have, but then parlaying those mistakes into more successes until he had a fundamental knowledge base, a strong foundation. I love foundation. I love teaching, educating, foundational process. I spent a little bit of time in the automotive industry, and you just said something that was really important about being really specific and niche. I was given one piece of advice 3 weeks into an automotive, what I thought was going to be a career, and the guy basically said, you came into the car business because you wanted to have a better experience, because as a consumer you weren't getting what you thought. So just be a consumer, but just turn that around. And I wound up learning product knowledge better than anybody, better than guys in the business for 20 years. And I would do what's called a proper walk around. Somebody would come into a dealership, I would show them the car, I'd refuse to talk about price until I labeled and layered value. I showed them the engine, we took a proper test drive, we analyzed the components of the car. We made sure that the value was layered and that I explained the product in such a way that I had the right to ask for their sale versus just negotiating right from the get-go. Because
if I may, I'm gonna interrupt you respectfully, if I may, because what you just shared is $1 million idea that most entrepreneurs. I guarantee you guys we got 1,700 people in the room right now holding. I'd say probably like 98% of you guys totally just missed what he was talking about. Like, see, when I'm looking and looking at what's going on, what the Trumps of the world is doing, right, in his real estate business, what people like Angelo and the companies like Coca-Cola, the Apples of the world, and the Microsoft, all these giants. What are they doing that I can pull those ideas into my business? And then what you just said is you don't ask for the sale until you have the right to ask for the sale, until you have identified, right? If you can implement that one strategy in your business, my friends, that's $1 million idea. Dan, I'm sorry, go ahead, man.
No. Thank you for stopping me, because you're right. That's a crucial component. I don't take that for granted. I never took the sale process for granted. In my real estate career, I was a Rookie of the Year for Century 21. In my automotive career, my press clippings are pretty legendary. I was the top salesman in the world for Nissan North America. I helped bring the Nissan Z, this iconic sports car, back during a time when Nissan didn't know if it would work or not work, because it had been gone for 8 years. But consultative selling, product knowledge, making sure that you recognize that, listen, high gross equals low grief. People will say that in lots of industries without any disparaging remarks necessary. I mean, there's nothing wrong with asking for profit. There's nothing wrong with asking for high gross. There's nothing wrong with asking for a high value for your services and for your product. But there's a particular timing involved, and you have to layer value. You have to understand the timing associated with it. And when we talked about teaching online marketers the ability to take a product or service and walk a consumer who may have never had a relationship with them before through this process, through the online methodology, through these webinars, these Google Hangouts, invite people that have never really gone to school for marketing, haven't had the knowledge and education that Angelo, Jason, myself, and you have had, over our careers. That's really what got me going, because I created a personal brand for myself called YCDB. It stood for You Can Do Better, and it started out kind of almost pointing a finger at myself first, and then pointing a finger at companies that were failing to do a really good job. I decided to turn that inward, and now we can teach some of those practices about what's the experience, what's the consumer going to really look for, what's going to be those triggering mechanisms that get them to click, to link, and ultimately to buy. Because let's be honest, we want to sell product and services that are relevant to the people we're marketing to. And if we can combine all of our levels of experience to teach you these methodologies, and then teach you all the different ways to market it, because Jason's mentioned 5 or 6 or 7 already today. There's probably 50 different ways that the world has opened up to us to market. A blog post, there are people making millions on Pinterest. I thought Pinterest was just for me to save really cool pictures of the cars I like. I didn't realize that there was a monetizing process with Pinterest. Tumblr. I didn't know that you could draw. I mean, Jason's laughing. I didn't know you could literally make millions on your Pinterest board.
Sorry.
It's okay. Yet I watched a webinar with these people that are making millions driving traffic just to Pinterest boards. My wife, God bless her, has Instagram followers, hundreds and hundreds of Instagram followers, and I'm like, we gotta figure out to find foodies, because my wife's a foodie and we travel all over the world. We'll digress into this at the education level, but I'm like, how do we monetize all of the followers that you have? And there are people that are sitting around the world right now, 1,700 people that are saying, hey, I have 3,000 people following me on Facebook. How do I do custom audience? How do I do social marketing? How do I get my message across to them in an effective way so that they want to buy something from me, but it doesn't sound like I'm really selling it to them?
Right.
We'll talk about consultative selling later in one of my classes, because it's really less than overt selling. It's about education, building value, layering that value, and then asking for the sale. Really a dynamic way of doing things.
Yeah, I always I always like the idea of selling without selling, right?
Yeah.
In the marketplace, that worked really, really well for me over the years. But man, sometimes I'm just what if you had like a cure for cancer or something, and you knew if somebody would actually go through that, right? That would actually get cured of cancer. I mean, would you be selling like John Carlton is talking about, selling from your heels, right? No, of course not, man. You would be aggressive. You would want to get that thing in everybody's hands who has the problem, right? When it comes to marketing, my friends, here's what we're so passionate about, because this stuff flat out works, period. Okay, and if you're selling anything, you simply cannot afford not to allow yourself to learn this stuff, unless you want to be another commodity or competition. If you'd like another marketer in your space, if there is no difference between you and another affiliate that's running next to you, you're a nobody in this space, and you don't want to be there. That's what 96 or 97% of people are getting, is nothing, because they don't know what they don't know, right? And so, all right, so guys, let's
May I just make one more comment, because I think what's being said is so important, and I mean, this is like you're preaching my religion. I want to get in the back of the room, be jumping up and down, saying "Amen, Amen." Because I'm telling you, I go back. So before I was on this side of the desk in consumer products, I was a buyer.
Right.
And what you're talking about is something I dealt with, which was a big frustration for me. Is I'd have these parade of salespeople come through my office, and it was all the same message: buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. And most of them got one appointment. You know, the people that were welcomed back, the people that I couldn't get enough of, the people that I built my business off of, were the ones that came in and added value. They came in and helped. They weren't just trying to sell me something. They came in and they were actually helping me in some way, shape, or form. And then, this goes back to what you were just talking about and what Dan alluded to earlier, then they would ask for the sale after they've earned the right. And that's, again, I just can't say it enough. You know, that's what all of this is about. It's not just stuff. It's teaching people to add the value, to make that human connection, to help others, which is such a simple formula, but somehow in this space, it's got ignored. And you know, it's great that you and Dan and Jason, I mean, that's what you're trying to bring. You're trying to drag this whole industry back to that, because if you can do that, that's it. That's what it's all about. So
absolutely. What I want to do is, if we can, I really want to talk about this other strategy of traffic, which is not, I mean, nobody's talking about. Even the biggest names gurus out there, you guys, you know, seeing out there right now in our space, they're not talking about it because they don't know it. Very, very few people in the world know about this, and this is, you know, how do you become? Have you ever wanted to be like, listen, as a marketer, if you've been marketing for more than 2 days, right? Here's an idea for you. How awesome would it be? If you can learn, right, the strategies and specifically how can you dig your own well of fresh water to drink out of, and that would be your traffic, right? So you never, ever, ever have to depend on anybody, and you literally are in control of your own traffic flow, right? That's what you wanted to do, and that's the idea of, you know, data, right? You know, aggregating, working with data, you know, monetizing the data, and then turning data into traffic, right, for yourself, for any niche, and there is. You know, when it comes to the data, then I want to ask you, you know, if you can talk about this a little bit, because this is the world you live in. You know, if you can give, you know, everybody a big 10,000-foot view picture of what we're talking about when we're talking about data here.
Sure, 10,000-foot view. Data is the remnants of information that you left behind. You visit a site, you may have left a cookie behind with your IP address. You sign up for a newsletter, you've left your email behind. The site content, you visited a shopping site, made a purchase, you've left behind not your credit card information, that's PCI compliant, that's held by the bank in strict confidence, we hope, but you've left behind your personal information, your mailing address, your likes and dislikes. You've even left things behind in the shopping cart that you didn't buy. All of those relevant pieces of data are analyzed, hopefully either by the company themselves or by analysts and teams or individuals like myself that were hired by big companies to take a look at what data they aggregated that didn't necessarily sell, and how do we ultimately monetize it. And taking a look at consumers' past experience or a consumer's current experience today, and figuring out where do they go next. So data is, data in the world that we live in today has changed dramatically. And because we live in a very transparent environment with Facebook advertising and Google advertising and cookie tracking and our very existence, even this webinar, I mean, all of the information that we're providing to each other is shared. It's the use of that data in a relevant format, going back to the very first word we started this webinar with. Relevant format is really what separates spammers and bulk emailers from super targeted marketers. Marketers with a purpose and marketers that understand the intent of the customer. And I think that's the difference between what we want to teach and some guy out there that promises you 1,000 clicks, or he's going to drop 10,000 emails for you and promise you a bunch of solo ad return. There's a disconnect between the communication and the relevancy. And so I think it's our job as marketers is to teach you, and there's quite a few methodologies. PPC is going to be one, SEO is going to be another, social media will be one, email traffic will be one, banner traffic will be another. How do you go ahead and use an effective strategy to drive traffic to a landing page, whether it's one that we help you create and you learn how to create it, or one that you've built on your own as a more experienced marketer, and how do you start developing your own pool of data, and then begin to start marketing products and services to them.
So it's being able, as a marketer, sorry, Jace, before I forget, because my attention span is really, really short. If I don't say it now, I might forget it, you know. Because this is, I love it, man. This is raw and unscripted and uncut, and it's just like, I love it, man. This is a great conversation over here. So then, as a marketer, as an affiliate marketer myself, or somebody who's building it, you know, a network marketing industry or whatever I'm doing, right? It's actually possible for me to go out there and either tap into, you know, data pools that's already out there, and at the same time, you know, start and building my own pool, so that one day, you know, in a very, very near future, I never have to depend on anybody for traffic or go to these traffic sellers or anything, because I can be my own traffic source. And who knows, if my you know, ambition is big enough, you know, maybe others, you know, will want to buy traffic from me if that's what I want to do, and create a whole business around it, because I know that's, you know, some people who did it.
Correct.
Is that what we're talking about?
Correct. Yes. I mean, everybody has to start somewhere, and so whether you're starting with a custom audience on Facebook and you're driving traffic to aggregate data, or whether you're starting with a small PPC campaign and you're learning from the likes of Josh Roche on how to do that, or you're learning from Jason McLean on an AdWord campaign, or you're learning from Angelo on setting up your LinkedIn profile and writing some articles which lead people down the path. The goal is to find individuals that are interested in what you're talking about, or the product or service you're selling, and get them to engage. They leave something behind. You were a master at this when I met you. I mean, we talked about how many people that had come to your HDA 1.0 or your Income Speedway or any of the other programs that you had developed. You had tens of thousands, I think it was hundreds of thousands of individuals that had left behind an email address that said, hey, I'm interested in what you're saying. You turned that into a cottage industry, how to drive your own self-generating traffic. Now, where we're working together, and I think one of the first things that intrigued you about me is the fact that I said, well, you only got their email address. Let's see if we can't figure out a way to get more data on who they are, so that we can have more relevant dialogues and conversations. So we had that exchange. We were like, light bulb moment. Okay, here's a guy that can take my 100,000 email addresses and IP addresses and figure out, you know, how do we get, I didn't get first name and last name. I didn't get city, state, zip, or country. And so there's processes where we can append that data. We can find other people that have databases and say, I own 10,000 records of just an email that went to my landing page. I'd like to know their first name and last name because I didn't put that in my form. And now I can have a dialogue in another email exchange using their first name, getting them to engage, driving traffic to a blog post or a newsletter, layering the value that you've talked about, with the goal of ultimately bringing them to a sales process where they buy something from you. But you've said it 100 times, Vic. You'll say it again. I'll repeat it. Jason will repeat it. Angela will repeat it. You don't have the right to ask for the sale if you're not building value. If you haven't built an exchange, if you haven't built a relationship, something that gives you the right to say, hey, trust me, buy from me. We have that rapport. We have that relationship.
Right, love it. So you want to talk about? I don't know if this is something you want to cover here. I'm totally gonna put you on a spotlight here, but feel free to just say we can't talk about it here if you don't want to, but because we have a lot of people. But this is definitely something we're teaching inside of High Traffic Academy. Permission-based marketing, right? This topic of permission-based marketing. So what if you don't what if I'm somebody who wants to just tap into a pool of data that's out there right now, right? Tap into that and start monetizing that. Right, while I'm doing all these strategies, so it's like, hey, I'm fishing while learning how to fish at a whole different level that nobody else even knows exists in, right? And that's a whole different world of traffic generation out there.
It is. There's cautionary steps that can be taken. There are plenty of data brokers that will sell you a list of data.
Right.
In my opinion, and I'm not saying there's anything. There's a lot of good guys out there that have spent time, energy, and effort to give you a start. If we talk about hygiene, which is cleansing, if we talk about sorting, if we talk about testing, and if we talk about make sure that your email service provider or whichever platform, and we're going to inside HDA, we're going to give you access to some of the greatest guys on the planet, from email sending, data appending, email validation and verification process. But as long as you're following the steps, there's things to watch out for. Third-party permission-based marketing, CAN-SPAM compliancy, TCPA, making sure that they're on the do not call list, making sure if you're imparting a call center, making sure they're on the postal list if you're sending out postcards. There's so many different marketing avenues for marketers today. The online world is one aspect of it, but I've seen people can do click-to-call campaigns that drive traffic back to their online campaign, or drive traffic to an online campaign and then offload it to a call center. We could talk all day long about different methodologies for marketing. There's nothing wrong with acquiring a small batch of data, but I think the goal is for you to be self-generating, so you're not reliant upon anybody.
Exactly. Exactly. Love it. Now let's see. Man, time flies when we're having fun. Man, almost an hour and a half. We're talking over here. Jason and Angela, you guys, you got anything else to add about the subject of the conversation right now?
Yeah, something I was listening to what Dan was saying, and it just goes right into the beginning. When we first started this conversation, we got everyone in the room and began chit-chatting. Everyone was looking for strategy, right? Everyone was saying, why is High Traffic Academy the best thing since Pockets? Why do we get involved? And I'm a guy who has to have specifics. I love hearing that people who join the program can benefit. I love seeing the solutions that are there. I know that when you join HTA, you have access to all this data and this information. But I like to make sure that we give proper strategy and teachings to those who are there. I mean, as you said, there are 1,700 people sitting here listening and talking to us every single day. And the very first thing we started to talk about, as you recall, was number one, which was strength. And we kind of beat that one pretty strong, finding those strengths, putting those plans together. The second thing we look at, which I want to make sure we touch on, is a weakness. Because no matter what we do, if we're trying to put together the right campaign or the right solution, we want to teach people to find the weaknesses in the program. Maybe the campaign is not going to be good for all marketing strategies. Maybe social media is a mistake. I'll give you an example. The campaign I showed earlier with the $800,000 spent in Google this year. We spent a lot on pay-per-click. We do well. We spent a lot in social media. We do well. But when we ran a campaign that was display marketing or display advertising, non-retargeting programs, buying CPM-based banners, basically going out and buying a CPM, a cost per impression. If I want to take a banner ad, 120 by 600 or 728 by 90, all the IAB, Internet Advertising Bureau compliance banners, and I want to buy a placement of these banners either on Google's content network or on other places, I'm basically looking for a way to drive traffic in a different capacity. It's a different way, and we talk about that specifically inside of HTA. But the important thing was this. Here I am generating millions of dollars in revenue and spending millions of dollars every single year in different strategies when I ran a campaign in the display content network. And I use a service like AdBeat, for example, which gave you, it's a third-party tool. We'd have no association, but they aggregate for a large fee every single month what others are doing in display marketing programs. We lost our shirts. We spent money, but we did not make the return we wanted because the person found that we were not relevant, number one, but we weren't at the point of decision. Online marketing has to put a user in front of a click, in front of an advertisement at a point of decision or at a point where you can bring them to the decision. And so a weakness that we found was the strategy of that divorce website was if we market it in places where a person wasn't interested in making a decision to end their marriage, it would not bring about fruit. So we did not buy CPM traffic. We decided not to do so. So the strengths of a campaign, the strengths of your offer, write all those down, and then when everything is bad about that offer, write all of that down, all the weaknesses, all the problems, and that's also going to give you your hit list. And then the next thing I want to make sure we bring up, and we give people into the strategies and put things for a program together, is the opportunity. A proper SWOT program is identifying your strengths of your business plan, the weaknesses of your business plan, and then the opportunities of your business plan. For the divorce program, for example, 62.4% of Americans in their marriage. It's horrible, but it's the truth. So capitalize on a program like that made sense for us in that strategy. So when you're looking at your business model, you've got to identify all of this. I've got, as a matter of fact, I could share my screen and go through about 100 slides right now on putting together the plan and the kind of plans we should put together and how specific we can get into it. I can get into that if you have the time. But the interesting thing is identifying the opportunity. Where is it you can make the revenues on this program? When I drive traffic to a landing page, I think of a bunch of things. The first thing I think about is the landing page. The second thing I think about is who's going to that landing page. The third thing I think about, you can write this down if you're not, the third thing I think about is what data, as Dan brought up, am I capturing from that landing page so I can remarket to them again. The next thing I think about is how am I going to monetize every person who clicked on that landing page, whether they buy from me or don't buy from me. Hugely important, because I'm spending money for a click. I have a chance. Now, in the old days, back in 2000, we had pop-ups and pop-unders, and those would be a monetization strategy. In today's opportunity, we use data, as Dan brought up very specifically, and you have to understand that data. So when you drive traffic to your site or to your product or to your landing page, you're going through a strategy to build a process. Opt-in, relevancy of the landing page, strategy bringing that landing page, capturing data about that user, then moving that user through a process so that they get to a next level where if they don't buy today, you can still recoup that dollar. Then I look at, with the opportunities, what are backdoor deals? What can I do if I'm generating leads for a health insurance ad? I'm driving traffic to eHealth Insurance or whatever it is, and I'm going to get paid a CPA, cost per action or acquisition. I'm going to get paid revenue from everyone who takes an application at the health insurance website. That's my business. That's the campaign I want to run. I went to ClickBank or Commission Junction or another affiliate network, which if you're new, we'll teach that to you and what that means. And I want to take a campaign. I'm going to understand the campaign. I'm going to build a landing page on that campaign. We'll teach that to you as well. I'll drive traffic to that user, capture that data for that particular user. We'll teach you that as well. The data comes into my box. I've got my list. I've got my data points about that list, and Dan will go over and showcase to you step by step what to do with that data. You then take that user and you hope that they're going to buy from that health insurance product. If they're not, what strategy am I going to engage through autoresponders, through relevant emails, through blog content, from touching that user and communicating that user via email? We'll go over those strategies. And we take that to the point where whether they bought my health insurance offer or not, I identify the opportunity of running that campaign so I can identify revenues for tomorrow. I have never run a campaign in my entire life where I have not identified every potential monetization strategy around that campaign first and foremost. It is essential and it is crucial, and this is what we want to teach you. So then what? All right, you got your strengths of the campaign, the weaknesses of your campaign, the opportunities around your campaign, step by step by step by step, as if you know nothing about this, and then the threats of the campaign. This is a huge deal. No one thinks about the problems. Could I get blacklisted? Could I have an issue? Will it not convert? Will I run out of money before the campaign engages? If I don't understand the threats, I can never take advantage of the opportunities and build upon my strengths and shore up my weaknesses. A SWOT strategy, which is 101 business strategy, no matter any company. I own 9 .com companies today, as well as an agency. I'm invested in other 7 or 8 companies. All these companies, I do a SWOT analysis. And I know Angelo can talk about this in detail, and he'll probably want to jump in. But I do a SWOT analysis on every opportunity. You should do a SWOT analysis on High Traffic Academy. What are the strengths of HTA? It gives you training. It gives you access to professionals. It gives you access to individuals who've been in the space for longer than you have been in the space. It gives you tools. It gives you resources. It gives you tips. It gives you tricks. It gives you ideas. It gives you recommendations. It gives you training. It gives you the knowledge. Teach a man to fish. You know the story. So that's a strength. What are the weaknesses of High Traffic Academy? Identify them. Where are the problems? Once you get into the program, you'll understand if there are any for you. The weakness for a person in High Traffic Academy is going to be defined if they already know everything. If you have all the answers, if you've done the kind of campaigns that Vic or Dan or Angela or myself have done, or Josh or anybody else, then this is a weakness, and it should be looked at. Is the data relevant to you? And if it's not, then that's a weakness, and put that in your box. If there are more strengths than weaknesses, that's important. The opportunity. Well, unfortunately, we can only take so many students into HTA, so the clock cocks itself down. It counts down. So we will close the doors.
I want to, if I may, Jason, just again, interrupt you, just making sure that everybody is clear who you guys are watching this, right? Listen, if you know yourself best, right? And so here is there is a timer below this video, and the timer is counting down to. We have a lot of people were coming to us and were like, man, how do I actually get started? I'm total beginner. I just want to get to my first breakthrough as a marketer, right? So what we decided to do is we decided to take on a group coaching to where we lead you through what's called a guided campaign promotion, right? We set you up. You don't have to have a product. You don't have to join any company or any opportunity or anything like that, spend any money to join in those programs. But what if we could show you, what if we could guide you, right, from taking my experience, Jason's experience, and all of us collectively, put together a campaign, a promotion, right, for a product we can pick, or a couple of products that we pick, and literally run with you and guide you step by step on how do we put together a campaign, the landing pages, the strategy, the thinking behind it, all that good stuff. And so that's what we're starting. And if you want to participate with us, there is no extra charge for High Traffic Academy members. You have to be a member. All you need to do is just come in and join. The button is right below this video. And as long as you're in this group, if you're getting before the timer reaches 0 on this page, then you're going to be included. And as far as moving forward, there's obviously limited time, because we do have opportunities to where we allow people to work with us more closely, but it's only for High Traffic Academy members, and it's very, very limited spots that's available there. So I just wanted to make sure that that's clear. By the way, when I have this microphone here on Opportunity, Jason, before you go back to your thing, guys, we have a lot of people in here. Man, we've been going on here for more than an hour and a half, and still have over 1,650 people in the room. If you guys are a member of High Traffic Academy, right, or you just joined us, you're a member of High Traffic Academy, give me a quick why in the chat right below. And what I want to do is, I want to take a look at, how many of you guys are actually members of High Traffic Academy just joined, because I'm getting like tons of messages, people saying, I just joined. Tell me why you're excited about, being a member of High Traffic Academy. Let me know in the chat right below this video, you guys. Jason, go ahead and continue. And I'm going to interrupt you once I see the chat rolling, so I can maybe feature some people. I want to recognize and spotlight some of you guys.
Yeah, it sounds great, brother, 100%. I tell you, the trainings in High Traffic Academy are great. And I tell you, it may be a great time to actually show some of the people, a little bit of a front door. Let me try to share my screen a little bit, and I'll give you some of the trainings that we're going to show. How do you think of that?
Hey, brother.
Vic, there's like 50 in a row, buddy.
Hey, brother. Let me do a screen share right now, because it's just too crazy.
Oh my God! Oh yes.
All these people here, members of High Traffic Academy. Congratulations, Taro, Eduardo, Emilio, Luis. See who I can catch here. Nick Hill. Got a lot of guests as well who became members. Barbara. All these yeses going on.
That's great, man.
So a lot of you guys are elite members. So congratulations to all you guys.
Congratulations. 100%.
Great. Go ahead, Jason.
All right, cool. So I'm going to share my screen here. Can you guys see my screen all right? So this is just one of the programs that we put together at High Traffic Academy, and a lot of you just will see it. We'll go over a couple of details about organizational setting and programs. These are kind of the infant gear areas. Go over goals and plans, goals in your organization, setting criteria for those goals. We talk about management functions of those campaigns, those programs. Management is a process of using organizational resources to achieve organizational objectives through the functions of planning, decision-making. We teach these programs. Organizing, we teach those solutions. Leading and directing solutions and controlling the program as your organization. We talk about the plan that we put together and why those plans are important. We talk about how that plan has to affect what you're doing. We look at your organization, we look at you as the plan. Building your future is our plan. We define those plans as a blueprint. An effective strategy begins in that capacity. We go over the process of planning and establishing the goals for putting those things in motion. Albert Einstein said, it is impossible to solve significant problems using the same level of knowledge that created them. And that's a big ticket behind what High Traffic Academy really, really stands for, because if we can give you the knowledge, it will change the world. We cannot use the Christopher Columbus School of Planning, which is when he left, he didn't know where he was going. And when he got there, he didn't know where he was. And of course, when he got back, he couldn't tell them where he had been. And that's literally, the Christopher Columbus School of Planning. And the goal of HTA is putting together the importance of a plan that makes sense. And I won't read all the details and give them all to you, but when you get an HTA, this is available to our students and our members. We establish the goals of the organization, and you, once again, are the organization and what the purpose of it is. The mission statements, establishing those programs, and of course Angela's going to have fun with this process. So go into the market and the customer, desired types of activities, the values, the aspirations, the quality, the locations, facilities, attitude towards your people. And we take basically big business solutions and we apply them to small solutions, small organizations, small people, individuals, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, and we put together strategic, tactical, and operational plans and goals all across the board. And we go into tactical solutions. I'm not going to go ahead and give you the whole program, but here's some of the criteria for an effective goal that we put together and we teach our people from an online strategy, that they must be specific, that they must be measurable, and they must be attainable. And relevant, which of course we talked about in the beginning of this webinar. Of course, they're trackable. And knowing these things, if they're basic business 101 strategies, then we put them together. SMART goals are specific. SMART goals are measurable. SMART goals are attainable. SMART goals are relevant. SMART goals are trackable. HTA was built to help establish the goals in an effective and strategic solution so that you, as your own organization, can build a business and make revenues. We develop procedures. Yeah.
Can I, let me just jump in there really quick because I want to share something I read this morning because, as you know, the goals section is something I'm really passionate about and, that I put together for this program. I want to share something, ironically, I read in Forbes this morning as I was having my coffee. And it talked about a study that was done way back in 1979 at Harvard Business School. And when that particular class finished, only 3% of the class had goals outlined just like you had just outlined. Another portion of the class, and I don't have the article in front of me, so I can't remember the exact statistics. Another portion of the class had goals, but they weren't done like this. Bottom line is, the data was phenomenal. The people that had goals and had built their businesses or whatever they were doing, their careers, outlined the way you had just mentioned it, made phenomenally more in earnings than everybody else in the class combined, and it was significant. And I can't remember the number. I wish I had the numbers in front of me. I didn't expect it, or I would have had it in front of me. But if you get a chance, Google 1979 Harvard Business Study on goals. You'll probably get the Forbes article I read this morning. But this is powerful. It's not fluff. And again, no one else is talking about this stuff because you know why? It's easier to say, hey, come to me and I'll sell you a bunch of clicks. Okay?
Yeah.
What can you do with them? Or you're just going to end up spending money. So powerful, so powerful. So I just wanted to jump in there.
No, brother, I agree 100%. I'll give a few last points over here across the board and make sure everybody can see it. But I agree 100%, man. Hey, Angelo, I tell you, as we go through all these wonderful things and teach our family members about the programs that they're doing and how things are being shown across the board, what do you think is honestly, of all the things we just went over, and I'll finish the slides in a second, but I want to keep you right there and there for a second. What do you think the most essential thing between setting a plan and putting a goal and having the specifics in mind that a marketer who's just starting out has got to engage today? What is the one decision they must make? What do you think that is?
Well, you got to make a decision to do something. I mean, and it sounds so simplistic, but so many people don't. They take in the information. They may even put a campaign down on paper. They may even think about it, but then they get so caught up in worrying: is it right? Is it perfect? Is it? I want to go back to what you were talking earlier about, like opportunities and threats, for example. Again, if there's only a few things you remember, whether you're doing business here, somewhere else, whatever you do, business is not the process of creating the perfect plan, jumping in, and away you go, and everything works well. What I do every single day, and what my colleagues do, whether it's in my company or across the world, we solve problems every day. We build a plan, we put that plan in action, and then we are constantly doing corrections. And so you have to make a decision to move forward. You can't sit there and just look at your plan and be worried that it's not perfect. So you make a decision, you move forward, and then you use a process to just do that correction, and you start and you just funnel it down, and boom, you're getting the results you want. So
yeah,
I hope that answers your question.
That's great, brother. That's great. It's like the flywheel and the pendulum.
Bingo.
Here, I'll put on my screen again, and Vic can pop it up there. The frameworks of planning. One, establishing goals and objectives. And at High Traffic Academy, we put together campaigns. We develop funnels. We create solutions that help you establish goals and objectives for the campaign, for generating business, and for making things engage. The second thing we do is define the present situation. How much money do you have in your pocket? How much money can you spend? How much money can you engage? And then give you the options and the solutions and the tools to work with each and every one of those programs one by one by one by one. The next thing that we do, and we look at all those programs, is we establish the forecasts and aids and barriers to those goals and objectives. So I know every single campaign, if I'm going to generate revenue from that campaign, what are the strategies, what are the programs, what are the ad groups, what are the ads, what are the data programs, how do I bring them all together and make them into one little world? Then I develop an action plan to reach those goals and those objectives step by step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want a strategy? Get your butt in High Traffic Academy. Get engaged, join the family, and get in motion. That's how we'll give you the specific steps. Next, you want to get into gear and say, what's your budgets? Hey, we all have a family, we all have lives, we all have to spend so much money to get so many things done. The only way to get those things done and engage properly is literally develop budgets where we can work with and engage and get the results that we need. Then we implement the plan step by step by step. Vic Stripeshoes will spend his entire night, his life, away from his kids, building campaigns and plans and funnels to develop a solution that helps people to grow and building campaigns that work. Whether you run this campaign or anyone else, we show you the program. Then, of course, control the plan. What tools are out there that make sense? What tools are out there that bring results, and engage them one by one by one. Evaluate and feedback and start all over again. This is Business 101, people. This is how I've built every one of my online companies. This is exactly how things work. Thinking strategically is the ticket. It's the CST. Now, what is CST? Common Sense Test. If you have a common sense test, your goal behind HTA has a common sense test. The campaign has a common sense test. Are people going to buy door wipers or squeegees, or are they going to engage a way to make a living? Or are they going to engage some other solution? If it does not make good common sense, then chances are it does not make good business sense, and you are, or your organization, which is you, should not be doing it. Time horizons are long-term. We plan a timeout. We put them together, short-term, long-term. We understand the problems. We go through a process all day long. Every CEO is manager of their own life. You have a planning program, and that's you. So we understand the process, we engage it, and we teach. So listen, the bottom line is, people, our goal here is to teach everyone exactly how to build a business for themselves, how to engage their lives, how to build something great. And that's just one of the little teachings, and a real short version of one of the programs we're putting together. I mean, literally, it's a Cliff Notes. That's like a dozen videos which are being available to our HTA family. And so, you know, it's designed to go very, very fast and engage. So that's number one. Then we get into specific trainings. We go beyond that one in number two. And so that's kind of, you know, the bottom line of how we put things together. So that's my love. That's my world. That's how I engage. Elvis is going to leave the building.
Here's what I want to do. I want to tell. I want to reveal something that that we never shared with anybody yet. And even those of you guys who are currently HTA members, you may not know this yet, but it's going to be huge, and you guys will witness something that's unbelievable. So before I do that, though, here's what I want to do. A question for you: if you made a decision to join High Traffic Academy right now, today, give me a quick why. In the chat, I wanna recognize you. I want to say I see some shaky booms in the house, man. I like that. That's great. So if you made a decision to join High Traffic Academy, give me a quick why. And also, here's another thing, another question I'm gonna ask you guys. For those guys who are in High Traffic Academy and you're getting massive value from High Traffic Academy, or you're getting results, right? Let me know that in the chat as well, as I'm about to share with you guys perhaps one of the biggest secrets that that we will reveal over the next probably year. All right. So let me know if you guys are with me on that one. I know there's like a 30-second delay here, so let's see what we got here. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys. I want to recognize some people, right? Dedo, Nazel, Nayli, Raymond, Jacob, Ellie, Bradley, Tony, Jeff, Liz, Michael, Azhar. Congratulations to you guys. You know, welcome. If you got results from High Traffic Academy, folks, I know this is a live thing we're doing right now, and this is like, there is no safety net here, right? This is not something that, you know, it's going to be like, hey, you know, they're just playing this out. Listen, 1,500 people in the room after, you know, 90 minutes of being together here, and I want to know if you guys are stoked about members of, you know, being a member of High Traffic Academy. If you're getting results, I want you to let me know in the chat below, right? Let me know. And Jason, is my screen sharing on?
Yeah, you're good, brother. I got it.
All right, cool. So, yep. Congratulations to you guys. Congratulations. Now, here is the coolest part. Okay, here is the coolest part. I'm going to tell you guys. Here is the coolest part. You ready for it? I'm going to stop sharing my screen. For those of you guys who are new, you know, you see the picture. If you're watching this video, you get the point, right? This is not just talking. This, you know, this is going to get really, really good. And the cool part is we're just getting started, and we want you to be a part of this vision. Okay? Are you ready to be a part of the bigger vision? Something that's bigger than yourself. I'm not talking about joining an opportunity, right? And we see a lot of those. That's a cliche. Hey, join us because you can promote us, and you can build your team by telling people to promote the very same thing that you're promoting, and so forth, right? That's what's going on a lot in this industry, and that's fine. You know, if you want to do that, great. We'll teach you how to do that at the level that nobody else can teach you. Because as far as I know, you know, I was able to set the industry's record in that world. I know how to do that, right? That's easy. That's the easiest thing ever. But if you want to be the boss in your niche, if you want to be the person, a go-to person in your niche, and if you want to do this with heart, if you want to do this with, you know what, not just do it for the money, about something that's more powerful and deeper than money, right? Which is, why are you doing this? We're on a mission right now, you guys. Okay, we're on a mission right now, and we're looking for people who are like-minded. Not everybody. This is not a place for everybody. We don't want people who are, you know, Jason, I'll be direct here. I'm just gonna say, you know, that, you know, if you're the bad apple type, right? If you're looking for everything, you know, in any situation, why something is not gonna work out for you, or if before you begin something, you're already doomed yourself by thinking I can't do it or whatever, right? Listen, this is not a place for you, right? We're looking for people who want to be a mover and shaker of the industry. If you want to be a super affiliate, a superstar in your niche, in whatever you're doing in your company, this is a place for you. I'm going to share with you 3 quotes that that I base my business around, right? And number 1 is this: nothing is impossible. Okay, forget the idea. I don't care what your background is, where you're coming from. Nothing is impossible. Here is the rule to live by. Okay, if you can adopt that belief system for yourself, that nothing is impossible. You may be, you know, you may be without money right now. That's a temporary situation. Don't ever call yourself broke. Okay, if you have a temporary financial situation, difficulty, right? Because the mindset is everything here. Number two is this: if you think too much, you may just miss an opportunity. And that's a quote that was shared with me. And I'm going to pass it on to you guys. If you think too much, a lot of people have this paralysis of analysis thing going on, right? If you think too much, you may miss an opportunity, which is fine if you do, but then who knows if the opportunity is going to be around, right? Who knows if, you know, it's not just an opportunity you're going to be missing. You can potentially miss a whole breakthrough in your business because of the time framing, right? Number 3 is this. The third thing I'm gonna share with you is this. I'm just going to say this, my friends, with what we're about to do, which I'm going to share with you in about 30 seconds, okay, there will never be a better timing to begin than right now. Let me tell you why. With High Traffic Academy, as we're getting going, right, as we're literally just starting and expanding our vision, and we're having, you know, tons of people, thousands of members right now, and when we're growing, but we're just beginning, okay, here's something we're going to be doing. We're going to be making people in this industry specialists, helping them become a specialist in different areas, right? And some of you guys, High Traffic Academy members, you know what that, you know, we talked about that. We we'll be engaging. We've been talking about pay-per-click right here. Different strategies. We're engaging these trainings specifically in those areas. So if you want to be the best in the world as a pay-per-click marketer, if you want to be the best in the world as a funnel builder, if you want to be the best in the world at at leadership, at building a team, at just being being that magnet in your space, and creating something phenomenal. If you want to be the best in the world at data, monetization, aggregation, and literally own that world for yourself, that you can teach to others, that you can create courses, you can start your own coaching programs if you want to, you can go out there and you can be the spotlight of the industry if that's your thing, or if you just want to be just sit in the background behind the curtain and just rake in the money by selling a ton of stuff, right? Here's an opportunity for you, my friend. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. This opportunity will not be available forever. Okay, because of the things that we're engaging, because of what's going on here over the next a month or two, and it's also is because of what we're doing starting next week. The timer right below this video is real. It's not scarcity, and those guys who followed us, we don't do scarcity, fake scarcity stuff. Okay, we do scarcity, but it's all real. When that timer hits 0, an opportunity you have right now to participate with us in what's called a guided promotion will be gone. You can still join later. You'll still learn a lot. You'll still get massive, massive, massive value. But it's just this particular opportunity is going to be gone, right? So I suggest if you're, if you deep down, if you have this cozy, this feeling that what, I like those guys, man. I really want to learn from somebody who is at the top of their game right now. Not somebody who pretends to be somebody, but somebody who is actually out there, spending $800,000 on just Google alone, right? Just that traffic source. Somebody who can put together a campaign that brings in $200,000 in a week. In revenue. Somebody who is literally the king of data, right? like the guy Dan over here. Somebody who runs, a marketing division for a giant, one of the giants in the world, right? Company. If you want to learn from people of this caliber, I'm going to look you straight in the eye. I'm going to tell you, get in before the timer gets down to 0. Okay, you will never have this opportunity, my friend. And I'm talking to you from the heart, and you can feel it and you know it. Okay, so if you're the type of person who wants to make a difference for yourself, for people around you, if you want to be out there, and somebody's saying I should be on TV, thank you. Michael is saying, right? You know what? One day we're going to be on TV. One day you will see an opportunity. Jason, talk about that, my friend, because I know that's your passion, man. Let's talk about this. Well, since we're kind of on the roll over here.
Yeah, you know what? I tell you, the idea behind HTA is to reach the world. Reach the world with a dream, and it's not a dream of getting rich and stuff like that. That's stupid. It makes no sense. It's to reach the world with tools. It's to reach the world with something unique and different. We have we're thoroughly excited to announce one of our first events, which is going to be coming up here, and in a very short amount of time. Hopefully, we'll be announcing that on Monday or Tuesday to a lot of our members, so they can get ourselves in gear. Video cameras are in gear for it. We're putting together our first specials. But ideally, the world we look at is, can you imagine taking a bunch of people and who don't know anything whatsoever about how to get out of where they are and giving them the actual tools? I mean, think about it. Just put yourself in a mindset. Picture that single mom who is raising 2 young boys, and she's by herself. Her husband has either passed away or left, and she's on a fixed income and trying to find a way to get herself to another level to take care of these young boys and develop a future for themselves. High Traffic Academy gives the tools to that person to allow them the ability to learn a skill and a craft and a trade that they can apply to themselves. The internet is there to allow the masses to become more than they are, to allow them the ability to see beyond the commonplace, to let them see a glimpse of their future. When I went to Alaska last week, everybody at HTA, all my friends and family, they came with me on Facebook. The internet is there. If we can teach people this and we can help them, this is the best way to do it. And television is that medium. So yes, we're engaging the process at this very moment to take High Traffic Academy on television, to take HTA to the masses. This is the opening of the floodgates. And literally this entire year, if you were part of HTA in 2014, are you better off today than you were a year ago? Are you better off today than you were 2 years ago? Are you growing? Are you gaining? Are you getting better? And that's the whole purpose behind it. I can tell you, our goal is to teach and teach and train. And if anyone's goal is separate than that, I don't want to be involved in it. And Vic founded this company back many years ago. And when I was approached with this opportunity, and he says, Jason, I want you to come be a partner with me and build this thing, I had to sit back for a second and do a little due diligence. I was hesitant. I did not believe that everything that glittered was gold. And so I had to dig deep and figure out what's my questions and ask my questions and find out, is this teaching making sense and can I add value to it? Because my strategy is different. What Vic has done is from an online marketer's perspective is different than what I've done as an online marketer perspective. And then can we add value together? Can we build something? When Dan came in, the same questions were asked. So television is not the Taj Mahal, it's the next stepping stone. So we're building HTA with you. And we're going to build you into something great if you give us a chance to do so.
Yeah, and one of the things that really really inspires me, you guys, is this. Having success is great, but you can only buy so many things. You can buy so many toys. You can go so many places. All that stuff is nice and everything. But listen, wouldn't you want to be featured one day as a star of the industry, right? That's what we're looking for. You know, we're looking to help you, teach you, train you, help you, and then feature you. Okay, if that's what you want. If you don't want that, great. You know, just do whatever you do quietly. But if you want to become the leader, if you want to become the star of the industry, that's your opportunity, my friend. So you guys, listen, I'm getting fired up. I'm the founder of this thing, and I want to join myself. So, and that tells you something right here. Dan, any final closing comments before we wrap this up?
No. We've. I mean, listen, if they're watching and they've engaged, I mean, we had 1,600 plus people. We're still 1,500 strong. I'll just chalk those other 100 people up to internet problems. There's nobody left, not a single person. I mean, we're all so excited. I think you can't fake the passion. You can't fake what we're feeling. You can't fake what we're trying to get accomplished here. The level of sincerity I think that we all impart is palpable. It's quite evident. There's more coming. I'm excited about our events. I'm excited about our television program. I'm excited about more faculty members coming in and layering more value on top of it, and just being part of the overall process and learning. I mean, I've had dialogues and conversations with members that have been around, some a couple days, some a couple months, and engaging in each one of these conversations and dialogues. And so it's an exchange also. Don't think that, I mean, we know a lot, and we're going to teach, and each one of our faculty members work. But I love that exchange of finding out what's working for somebody. And you had a hangout the other day where you brought people in on things that were working, and you taught, and other people got to hear about personalized experiences. That stuff is priceless, Vic. I mean, really, just it's really about sharing in an environment where we take everybody's successes, and we're not greedy little guys. It's like mine, all mine. It's about sharing and being heart-centered and living in abundance and sharing all this knowledge and information so that we all grow. And that really is what we're all about. And I'm so excited, and I'm blessed. So thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate you, brother. Great to have you on board here with HTA as well. Mr. Angelo, wrap us up, man.
You got it. So can I end on a quick little story? It's a story I do for one of the videos I did for the program. And, like we just talked about, you'll get everything you need with this program. The only thing you need to supply is some dedication and some sweat. And with that, let me just share this with you. Years ago, when you mentioned when I went back to school, got my MBA, I remember one night I was in a study group, and it was just a class that I was arm wrestling with all semester. I was having a really challenging time with it. And I was about ready to just throw in the towel. And there was a gentleman that went through my program who was a Navy SEAL. Well, he's a former Navy SEAL. He'd retired. Now he's doing work in the business world. And I looked at him. I said, I'm done. I'm throwing in the towel. I'm going in tomorrow, and I'm just going to see what happens. And he looked at me, and he got really serious. And he said, Angelo, he goes, there's a saying that I used to live by. He goes, there's two types of pain in the world. Pain of discipline and the pain of regret. You can only avoid one, so choose wisely. Everything here is an opportunity, but it comes down to two choices. So choose wisely. And even when you participate in the program, remember, you've still got to put the work in, still got to put the dedication in, and we'll walk you through all of that. But every morning you got to get out of bed and make a decision. Success is hard work, but dedicate yourself to it, and everything else will unfold. And then the final thing, when you're successful, when you have your own program, remember, you're then obligated to send the elevator back down to help somebody else, and that's what Dan was just talking about and what Vic was just talking about. So,
love it, love it.
Good luck, guys.
Love it. Here's what I want to tell you guys. If you're watching this, if you're stuck around this far, congratulations. You're not typical, and I know it, and you know it. Okay, deep down, you know it. You're not typical. Here is what I would invite you to do. Okay, I'm gonna do this without an ounce of hesitation because I know what I know. Okay, here's what I'm gonna invite you to do. Right below this video, there is a Join High Traffic Academy button. Okay, if a part of you is thinking or telling you that you need to be a part of this, listen to it for your sake. Whether you join or not, it's not going to affect me, honestly. We have thousands of members, okay? We don't need to do what we do. Jason's running multi-million dollar company. Dan, he doesn't need money. You know, Angelo, and trust me, it's not. We want to make a difference. We want to help you. This might be your opportunity. If you're already a member, congratulations. You guys have no clue, no idea what's coming in store for High Traffic Academy at the time of this recording, obviously, what we have planned and what we're going to be rolling out as soon as next week. Okay? Stay tuned, stay engaged, check your emails often. If you're somebody who is watching this for the first time and you have stuck around all the way through this for 2 hours, okay, I'm going to tell you join in. Okay? You have a full 30-day money-back guarantee, awesomeness, forget the guarantee, you know, the satisfaction guarantee. Awesomeness guarantee. Okay, if you don't think this is the most awesome thing you have ever participated in as a marketer, ask for a refund. Okay, no issue. We don't want your money if you don't think this is going to take your business leaps and bounds. Right? We want to help you break through. Okay, the timer right below this video indicates when the next guided promotion is going to where we're going to stop accepting new members for this guided promotion. Okay, if you want to be in it, if you want to run with us, if you want to start a campaign without having a product, even if you don't have a list, if you don't have a website right now, but you want somebody to take you by the hand and guide you through the ropes and show you the ropes and walk with you, right, step by step, this is your opportunity. When the timer hits 0, you will not be able to participate in this opportunity anymore. Okay, and then as far as the discount for High Traffic Academy, right now, as you're watching this, and if there's still timer ticking, you can get in at 75% off. Okay, typical price for High Traffic Academy, which is ridiculously low compared to, obviously, I mean, it's not even comparable to the education you're going to get here. Is $1,997. Okay, it's $2,000. Right now, when you're watching this video, you have an opportunity to get in at a special promotional price before the timer gets to 0 at $497. That's a 75% off. Okay, the price is coming back on, and you will, you know, there's a very, very good chance that you might not have the same opportunity again if you miss out. Okay, that's why I tell you, if you think too much, you may miss an opportunity. Okay, so my friend, you know yourself best. You know if you can get in. If not, you know what you're doing. You know what your goals are. You know where you want to be. If you want to be where you are today, you know, a year from now, then do what you're doing. Right? If you want to be somewhere great, if you want to be, you know, if you want to change your situation over the next 30 days to 6 months to a year, if you want to be a totally different type of marketer, if you want to be a master at your craft, if you want to be able to literally command success at anything you do. Listen, I've been an affiliate marketer. I promoted something as mundane as an email autoresponder. Okay, you get affiliate commissions of like $5. Okay, come on, for every sign up. And I was able to build a monthly residual income from that without doing any direct sale for it, not even once. Okay, there's a strategy that I'm teaching, and I was able to build my income to over $20,000 per month consistently. Okay, I was promoting other people's products as an affiliate off of ClickBank, network market, you know, not even but the affiliate marketing, right? ClickBank, you know, and all these Pay.com platforms, CPA, and I was constantly, you know, in the top 3 of affiliates. I won contests. You know, I started out from 0, and I won, you know, the Teslas, right? And I won $30,000 in cash and more because of what I know when it comes to traffic, when it comes to converting traffic into leads and sales. And this is the kind of thing that we're going to be that we're teaching inside of High Traffic Academy, and you will have direct access to. Okay, so if you don't want to win competitions, if you don't want to, to be the best at what you do, if you don't want to, to be this type of marketer who a lot of people will follow because of what you know, and because there is something about you that makes you different. There is something about you that makes you magnetic, right? If you don't want to be that person, if you want to get what you have always been getting, then this is not for you. But if you want to be somebody who is going to be, if you want to participate in a competition, you want to crush it. Okay, don't just win by a little bit. You want to crush it. You want to take #1 spots. If you're a competitive type like myself, I'm a very competitive. Jason, the strength test you've been talking about, I took that test, as per your direction there, and my number one trait, the dominant trait for me is competition, and I shared with you that, which is kind of, it blew my mind because I'm very, very competitive by nature, right? And when I participate in in promotions, especially if there is a contest, right, and especially if there is like other so-called supermarketers or gurus are playing the game, right, dude, every single contest I promoted, right, I won by leaps and bounds, and a lot of you guys know that, right? Who've been following me. How do you do that? Well, you do that when you do certain things in a certain way, and that's what we teach. Okay. You may not get rich tomorrow, but I'm telling you, you will never be the same marketer again if you are a member of High Traffic Academy, okay? And then one day, my friend, there's going to be a day, probably very, very soon, to where you're going to look back and you're going to be like, wow, that was the best decision of my life I have ever made to become a member of High Traffic Academy and apply myself and put these strategies to work. Because, my friend, there is no better industry than what you and I are a part of right now. Okay, if you want to build your business, if you want to stay at home, if you want to work from your home, if you want to be around your family, if you want to live the lifestyle that most people of the world are dreaming about, but they have no clue how to create, you can do that. But you got to stand out. You got to learn the strategies. You want to be learning from people who are doing it. You cannot learn from somebody who is, blind leading the blind, right? This is what's going on in the industry. If you want to learn from somebody who is genuine, who wants to make, leave their mark in the world, and you want to participate in that vision, this is your opportunity. My friend, I look forward to seeing you inside of High Traffic Academy. And if you're quick enough, if you're smart enough, if you want to be a part of this, what we're doing, especially doing next week before this timer hits 0, again, there's a button below this video. Feel free to join us, and we'll have lots of fun together. So, my friends, I appreciate you. As always, I like to say, listen, God bless you. Right? Whatever you do, don't give up on your dream. Nothing is impossible, and I truly believe down in my heart of hearts that you can do this. You deserve better, right? And you can have better life, and you can be a better marketer. I look forward to seeing you inside of HTA. It's going to be fun. We're about to engage something really cool. Don't miss it. I appreciate you guys. See you later.